Welcome, everybody, to Design Kitchen, where we provide inspiration for innovation. Steve and I were just talking about Machine Shop and basically the next steps on one of the ideas we brought up last week about partnering with machine shops. So, Steve, you were talking about this?
Yeah, so there's what I've been kind of trying to do is put together some kind of a deal, either purchase a machine shop myself or just get into like some form of a partnership with a shop where I can go in there, I can use the equipment, I can help them out with whatever work they're working on. But then as well as being able to do my own stuff, bring in my own parts, my own projects. So I design something, I want to machine it, I want to make some prototypes. Well, instead of going on Proto Labs or having some other machine shop make it and paying a couple $100 for prototypes. I go in there and run the machines, make my own parts. So with prototyping, super valuable. These machines now, like what I'll be kind of looking at will probably be not production machines. So once you get up into like high production volumes, it's hard to compete with a shop that's fully set up for production.
Yeah.
And that could get kind of boring anyway. So maybe I wouldn't want to do that, but for prototyping and just for making short runs, initial market testing and then even for just random little bits and pieces for myself, my dirt bike parts or mountain bike parts. And so that's my reasoning. I want to partner or buy a machine shop. But my current situation is I'm working a full-time job. I currently kind of plan on probably continuing that at least for the time being. And then I don't have a garage or any kind of a shop myself at home. So I don't have anywhere to put machines. If I were to buy them,
yeah,
I don't have anywhere to put them. My landlord wouldn't like it if I put them in the living room. I would assume, I haven't asked him, but I would assume he would. But
your wife probably wouldn't mind after like enough convincing.
I don't know. I might have to buy her a new car or something. But anyway, yeah. So and being that I'm working a full-time job is not really practical to go and rent out at least for me at this time. Now in the future, I would this may change, but going and renting out, let's say, a 2,000 square foot shop space, putting in a couple of machines, you're paying for the leases or the finance payments for the machines plus your real estate lease. In total, all of your overhead, it adds up to be so much that turns into a full-time job like now, right? I can't do that, working full-time and then trying to go do that without working insane hours, which is totally possible. And some people do it. And right now, this point in my life, that's not what I'm looking for, right? So partnership kind of comes out to be the best fit, or either that we're buying a machine shop. And let's say if I found a machine shop with smooth, smaller shop, not huge like stress or management required, I could run that while working full time.
That was almost self-sustaining with its own basically. With its own. Yeah, because what I was thinking, and I was reading a couple articles on buying and starting a machine shop, and what it looks like to me is that unless you have like a set customer base or something to like give you money right off the bat, it seems to be a rather difficult thing to kick off, or even if you currently have one right now and work just slows down, basically you could be stuck 2-3 months without any jobs coming in.
Yeah, spindles aren't turning, you're not making money, it's a tough business for sure, and it has high upfront costs, and your competition is very high as well. So there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of machines. You get one 3-axis CNC into a shop, and get it all tooled up and set up.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy a new machine, you're $100,000 into it before you know it.
Yeah,
Right?
easily.
And that's nothing special. So
Yeah.
trying to do that as a startup, and the problem is that just one machine isn't enough. You need lots of inspection equipment. You need other tools that kind of surround and support that, saws. You need your computer and your whole,
Your software.
any kind of technology stuff, your software. It's an incredibly difficult business to start up. Now it can, many businesses are. Now, I'm not saying that this is unique to machining by any means. A lot of businesses are very challenging, but and there are ways to make it easier. But yeah, so, and for me, I've really wanted to own a machine shop or in some form for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's it's a process, and a lot of times how a lot of shops actually end up starting is in their garage.
Yeah.
So somebody that takes the real estate. So let's say like a $3,000 lease payment for a small space to get started.
Now you have your garage.
Well, you just have your garage. That takes that much of the burden off of you, which is huge. It could be the difference between making it and shutting down.
Yeah. No, I also think the way you approached it is probably the best way, because let's say, somebody else has the same skill set that you have and they want to start their machine shop or they want to start a business. Basically finding somebody that you can partner with. And at that point, now you're like basically another arm of their team, free for them in a sense, because now you're bringing in work for the shop. You're adding capabilities, you're adding people and manpower. So it's a win. And I think that that's, the best approach, other than, starting it in your own garage and trying to do it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And especially if it's more of an established shop, where the other person has already put in the time, like they've got it going. And if you can bring in some level of value, and that it, of course you can't just jump in and expect to be like an immediate partner and earning money in some sense, but you bring your own value, which for me, as a prior machinist, I've worked in a machine shop for some number of years, so I can bring in value, as in I'm going to help him make his parts.
Yeah.
And take some burden, as if I'm kind of an employee, but instead of, he don't have to hire me. I'm not an employee. I'm working through my own business as a
contract.
On a contract of you could
contract partner,
1099 employee. So
yeah. Because another thing too I've been noticing about the machine shop is that if you're strictly doing machining, I feel like you're not fully tapping into your money earning potential as if you were doing machining plus assembly plus a value added process. So like, for example, creating a product that you like, you anodize, you assemble, you do some kind of packaging, and now you can sell it as like a product with all of the value added manufacturability to it. I think, at least for my logic in it, that's almost like a whole nother route where ideally you should be trying to push it into. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so just, like you said, if you're only doing machining, well, a lot of people do that, but they might have like some special customers, some kind of relationships, or long-term contracts. But by being able to provide value add services especially if you can do them all in-house, there's more potential for money, for income. And for myself, what I'm really looking to do is my own products, potentially, other people's products, but then if I can do most of my own stuff in-house, at least for the development phase of it. You know, really there might be some external companies that are big enough, they just have the systems, the processes, everything in place that even as compared to in-house, you may not be able to compete with them. So but for the development portion, when a product is in kind of an infancy state, it would be very difficult to beat that on an like by some vendor doing the work for you. You know, doing it in-house almost every time is going to be cheaper.
Exactly, because you could literally grab a piece of scrap and you know, turn it into your prototype.
Yeah, prototyping is expensive. That is the expensive part, is doing any form of prototyping. Because with production stuff, you might spend, there might be like an initial cost, let's call it $10,000, but if you're making 1 million parts, $10,000 gets spread out over every one of those parts. But now if you have 3 parts, $10,000 divided by your 3 parts is
So talk about prototyping being expensive. I mean, it could be as cheap as like you know, $2-3 squeegee and a piece of tape. So I know you're might be driving. I don't know if you got a brief glimpse of it when I send you pictures, but this is kind of what I came up with, very, very simply. And, you know, I thought it was cool because if you press the button, it would literally just spray right onto the knife edge, and then you just wipe across, right? I was thinking, you know, you can, this serves as like a handle, you know, you're grabbing it. So eventually, now my plan was I can have this piece basically mold around as like maybe like an open U, and that way the bottle would just slide right in and you can just pop this onto it as the squeegee. Maybe have some kind of vertical struts here to support it and give it some kind of structure so it doesn't bend. But this seems like super simple. What's your take on it?
Yeah, it's a really simple product. So it would be, you just drop your bottle in. So the bottle is kind of like the replacement piece, but the squeegee, you just keep it, so it's easy to refill and reload, and it seems effective. I mean, it's super simple, but I think it'll do its job.
What's up?
So, and that is not only for, like, I think the main application is for
the gym,
more for gym equipment, right?
Yeah.
But what about like tabletops? What about in a restaurant?
Yeah, we were talking.
You know, because
nasty.
You see, yeah. Would it be exactly the same product, or would it maybe be, or it could be even be the exact same product? One of them is gray, one of them is green, and you package them and advertise them separately, as in two completely separate products, different names and everything on them. So, because if something is labeled as it can work in the gym, it can work on your dinner table, and you're like, wait, sweat and dinner table? No, I don't want those things associated. But now if you make those separate products, separate company names, you know, doing business as, you just do DBAs or something, so that you can, different product names actually.
I think what you said originally with the different colors, maybe have like a gray one or something, you know, that reminds you of the gym, then have maybe like a blue or a green one that's like restaurant friendly. And you know, like we were mentioning, or I think we were talking about this in the last one, that I would want to have like a proprietary, like eco-friendly fluid. So it's like this whole suite of things that you're buying. You know, so the label would literally, it would just be a sticker that would tape around here to here, and it would be a different color for whatever, you know, whatever product or whatever application. But that's a good point, actually, having, because you don't want like a gym my gym scrubber used on kitchen tables or something, or
Yeah,
restaurants.
yeah. Especially if you own two of them, and okay, one is going to be a good
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Oh, I
One
just
is for
finished
the
working out,
kitchen.
and yeah.
But yeah, it seems like because in a restaurant, like, they just take their little towel and whip it across the table a few
That's so
times and
gross.
call it clean, and it's like, that's not actually clean. I want to see you, but it needs to be fast. That's the whole point. That's why they're doing that. They're like,
Yeah.
well,
So
they're in such a hurry, they don't have time to spend their time scrubbing it. But this thing could, if you get it, they basically get the table wet, by spraying it and then squeegee it off. You got full good coverage, and it should have killed everything, any kind of germs or anything, wiped off the sticky.
And like one thing I could do is I could put two surfaces, and one of them scrub it with like a towel, and then the other one use it with the squeegee and put like a black light over it just to show the biochemical remnants that are left.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're using the towel. All you're doing is smearing everything around.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're doing it properly, you can, using a towel properly is very effective, but
Yeah,
you're just whipping it across
not
the
how they
table.
use it in the restaurant. No. As far as this sign, what do you think of this? Can you have any feedback? Obviously I said, like, here I would want to have like a built-in taper type of thing. But I mean, this doesn't necessarily have to be like this, because another alternative I was thinking to make it even more compact is if it was bent something like this, where it was clipped here, and now you're spraying and swiping at the same time, and it's more compact. What's your take on, let's say, this versus the more open design like this? Oh, I think you're muted for a little bit. But yeah, well, while Steven's muted, last week I talked about putting together this planner / like productivity life integration book. So I actually started working on that. I'm like maybe 50 to 60 pages in at this point, and it's pretty interesting because the way it's coming out, it's a way to basically maximize your life experience or your life efficiency by being able to figure out what your goals are in the areas of your career, of of your health, of your personal development and your relationships. And it kind of plays off the theory that in order to have fulfilling what do you call that, like fulfilling relationships, right, that would be the ultimate end goal. Well, first you have to have your health in place, because if your health's not in place, then you can't have like the rest of your life area. So once you situate your health, then the next is to build up your wealth, your career, whatever that may be, so that then you have the time and the leisure to spend on yourself and work on your personal development, your spirituality, or whatever it is, so that then finally you can be your best self and meet someone who's also at that place in their life, and ultimately integrate everything. So for example, like if you're into fitness, entrepreneurship, and personal development, well, if you happen to find a girl that has those exact same interests, it makes your life you have to do 1/3 of the effort to accomplish those three things. So that's kind of the basic rundown or theory of that planner / book. But I'm going to keep pumping away on that. And it looks like Steven came back on, but then he's muted again.
Yeah, I had some bandwidth issues, and then it muted me automatically when I lost.
Oh, no, yeah, I just kind of filled in with one of the other ideas in that planner book that I was working on. But back to this one, I guess. Did you have any input on the direction of the blade itself or any other design inputs?
I think that should be. I'm trying to think, because it needs to be quick to just swap out like the cartridge, or even like refillable. And then
it's the same thing where you mount it, because if you mount it here, you do the same opening at the top and you just put the little taper here for support, and you're basically scrubbing in this direction now, you know, and it's you know, this is like not fully ergonomic, but somewhat comfortable to holding, versus doing this, which is the same thing, but now you have, you know, more. I saw, you know, you have more moment here to bend, so you need more of the material.
Can you make it, or maybe this is what you intended, is so that it can be in both positions, like the same product can be in either be kind of extended or more compact? Is that possible?
The problem is that now you have moving parts where, you know, this would almost be like a clip, like a U that it sits in, like a, where if you have it here, then it would have to have, you know, be sitting in this direct, or be built with having like the support from here to here. You see what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Or the chamfer, slipping my mind. But yeah, I was just thinking this gives you more of a handle like type of feel.
Right.
But then this gives you more of a very compact, like you're not going to break it. It's not going to take up space.
So maybe you could do both, one of each. And so one, if I was to throw one in my gym bag, I would want the more compact one. Yeah. But if I was working in the restaurant, I think I would want the other one. I think I'd want it to be bigger, and more ergonomic would be more important to me in that case.
Because I'm thinking it's going to be a completely different design. So that's two completely different tools.
Right. Yeah.
So that, but to kick it off, let's say I was kicking one off.
If it was one or the other, I would say do the more I like the more, like something that's more compact.
Yeah, because if you're working at a restaurant too, you know, you got to slide it in your little apron thing, or like mount it up on the wall, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe cut it shorter so it could stand up on its own. Because I could redesign this whole blade, and I don't know if I want to just, you know, take something that's like stock and see if I can have it modified. That's going to be my first move, I guess. I've also seen these other blades that are like more flexible. So I don't know if a softer blade might be better or whatnot, but I guess that's some testing on my part. But I mean, overall, you think this is something I should push into like a 3D printing phase?
Yeah, it seems like it would be worth it, even if you did like a 3D print the whole clip part of it and the more solid plastic piece, and then find a piece of like rubber trim and just make sure that you can slide it into place so it's actually is fully functional.
Yeah, because there's interchangeable ones. Because the other option too would be, you know, to keep it fast would be just building like some kind of clip that I can attach this to. But ultimately, I guess if it's going to be something that's going to be plastic injected, I mean, I would probably just plastic inject the whole thing out of a soft plastic and just keep.
That's what. Yeah, I think as a final product that would make more sense.
Yeah, and, I don't need a 2-part component for this. Just a total soft plastic, and then the label itself is going to be almost like the I mean, I could even have like a rugged label that has a clip on it, but then it has like the brand stuff, or like a piece of rubber grip here. Yeah, that could be actually for handle. I could just put like a rubber sticky type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna push this a little bit further. How are your projects?
So I was getting some a little bit of design feedback from some people this past week. I've been integrating that into a design, actually 3D printed. I just got home, so I'll be going in. I'll see my final or new kind of 3D printed version of it. So it's coming along, making more progress on just getting the final fit and finish and all the functions that I wanted to have, and got some useful kind of input, but from other people. But what the problem is, it made it more challenging to design. So, but it's useful. So it's some features that I wanted to add to it, and so,
yeah, that's
well, worth putting the time in now so that it makes it a better product. So.
Yeah, at the end, exactly. Were you gonna jump on the video too right now? Or
no, no, I won't do that.
Oh, okay, not a problem. So I guess I had an idea too, right? So obviously getting a spot at the gym, you know, sometimes you go and it's just empty. Other times you don't really want to ask anyone, or you don't like how they spot. So I haven't really seen anything like this other than using like a Smith machine. But you know this, the way seatbelts work, where when you're pulling it slowly, it moves, but then once you yank it, it locks.
Yeah.
So imagine that you can just kind of mount something right on the bench, and then it would maybe clip onto the bar. So when you're benching, or like let's say you're squatting, as soon as it notices a rapid decline, it just locks into place.
Okay. Yeah. It's like a safety feature, that like a self-spotting.
Yeah. Because see, you know, to keep it as simple as possible, you know, you can make it retracting as well, but then you have to have a motor and something that's going to help you lift it back up. But I was thinking, you know, keeping it as simple as possible. If it's literally just something that's going to stop like a little clip on the bar attached to like maybe the top of the, you know, where you rack the bar, and it basically would just freeze in place.
Yeah.
I guess what do you think the usefulness of that at the gym would be?
I do think it's like, especially benching, when you're benching on your own, if you've got heavy weights, but typically the speed, by the time you need that thing, you're already being kind of squished, and you might be already pinned. But
yeah,
so I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to make that work. But like you said, you don't want to, like, retracting now turns it into a machine where you have a motor, and if you did go that route, I would say put something so that you wrap it around the bar and you hold your thumb on it. You hold your thumb on a button.
I thought
if you let go of the button, it goes up.
Oh, okay.
So like if you release the button, not if you press it, but because, you know, when you're squeezing the bar, when you're putting your force into it, that's when you want it to be like the button's engaged and everything's okay. This is going good. But when you're in trouble, you can just let go and you know you're safe.
Gotcha. Almost like a lockout feature.
Yeah.
Tag or whatever it's called. Yeah, that's actually a good point, because in the past I was thinking about it and I'm like, why isn't there something on this like a Smith machine, or like on the squat rack that's like already built in, where they have like a pulley system on the sides and it like spots you, you know? I'm like, why doesn't that exist? But
yeah.
And my logic was, if it was something similar, where if you have a little button that you can make it go up or you can make it go down. But I think the way you said it, where it would just automatically very slowly start to lift it, if you let go of the button, that way you take off a lot of the thinking. Yeah, that would be kind of hard, because I feel like you would need some powerful batteries to run some like high torque motors to do that.
Yeah, if it was battery powered, you would, and it would just be it would be really slow, so it wouldn't have to be a super high torque motor, because you'd just be gearing that torques it down.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it gives you that the force that you need. And then you'd want to make it so it's plugged in, but then there's cords.
Yeah.
And cords running across the gym. That'd be such a great thing.
Yeah. Because there's always the mechanical version of it where if you have it like that and the button is somehow linked to the upper device where when you let it go, it just locks, but it doesn't really help you get it up. So now it's no longer based on the momentum or torque of it moving, but now it's based on you releasing the button.
Yeah. So that way, that would be a simpler, just a mechanical application. It doesn't raise it, but at least it doesn't crush you further.
Yeah.
At least it's.
I mean, that'd be an interesting thing. I feel, I guess, a lot of the times, you don't really need a spot unless you're like really maxing out, or else that means you don't like know your body or something. If you every time you're like, oh, I ran out of strength, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any ideas for this week? Any new ideas?
No new ideas. My brain has been consumed by my current ideas.
Yeah, I've been working so much on, or this whole last week on that book, but I got pretty far. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the amount of stuff I got on paper, like planning. I sent you a little draft.
Yeah.
Cool. But if any of you guys want to check out that draft that I made or anything else, or have any questions for us, reach out at designkitchen.org. And we look forward to talking to everyone next week, and have a great week, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. That's it.